Alrighty, hi, I'm Luke, and currently I'm about to generate a custom um, audio overview for a whole heap of my Aura of Intelligence documents, and the ones that are customizing how to create digital twins of body and mind, specifically honing in for dementia care. This afternoon or this evening, I watched the ABC uh, ABC Australia. There was a TV show about dementia put on in part by Dementia Australia, and it refreshed my memory that a couple of years ago, part of the Aura of Intelligence digital twins of body and mind, I did do a big deep dive into customizing that for dementia care and the NDIS. Um, and then, yeah, because Aura of Intelligence is applicable to every different facet of human life, or when it's complete, it will be, I got kind of distracted, and then I went to India trying to get this thing built. I didn't have any money. I had like $8,000. I spent a year in India. I developed like ChatGPT was out, and I deep dived even more through the 10 years of research I'd already done. So I've got this now amazing uh, cacophony of process uh, and like it could be productized quite quickly with a reasonably small team using AI code pilots, and there just need to be me working with a handful of uh, really knowledgeable people to build a dementia care segment and a memory app, allowing and helping people to digitize analog memories through photos, like using the camera and taking photos of photos, and engaging in conversation around the content, like reliving memories, and then having an AI that automatically puts that to a timeline and enters it into your Aura of Intelligence to create historic digital twin of your memory, and then applying that in the dementia care setting where you can have a mixture of experts, agents that help basically everyone involved in the care process to reflect memories back to the person that's suffering so that they can maintain their cognition longer, and curating their environment so that it's and even this data here that I've put in is not all of it, um, but I'll start this now. um, and then we'll look. There's 19 sources. We'll look at the mind map now. I'm going to make this whole NotebookLM available for anyone. So we're basing it on the Aura of Intelligence ecosystem. So if you come in here and so let's start again. If you go to the mind map, because I'll share the link on the video, and then if you click on any of these things, the arrows will open up more information, or you can click on one of these and it will then start the AI in the background searching. So look, let's click on the Aura of Intelligence for Dementia Deep Dive, and it'll then query all of these documents and start to use a large language model, Gemini, Google Gemini, to create something about that. And then you can type questions down here. So now it's coming through, and you can ask infinite number of questions that are customized from where you're coming from in life and what you're thinking about. And it's got all these references. You can look at all these documents, but I'll just quickly click through all these bits of the mind map so you see what is in there. So my goal is alignment of artificial superintelligence. So I feel personally that the biggest existential threat facing humanity today is that if we have a military industrial complex or a profits first company become the parents of artificial intelligence that gets a recursive evolution, or being able to write its own code and get better and faster and smarter. If it grows up with the values of a military or a rogue military, or just profit first, then we're going to have a higher likelihood of a bad outcome. So I'm trying to focus it on joyful, responsible abundance and digital twins of body and mind, so we keep humans in the loop. Human technology harmony, basing it on the ideas of auras and the philosophy of mind that has been looked into many, many times with religions, with ways of life like Buddhism, Hinduism, all of the other Western religions as well, and creating a light field interface that is based on mathematical multidimensional data or vector storage. It's probably too much to go into that, but Alpha Infinity Foundation, an altruistic, loving, participatory human alliance, investing now for infinitely nuanced intelligence that yearns for our united, non-discriminating attention to internally organize nirvana. That's the acronym of Alpha Infinity Foundation. Protopian future is about making every day a little bit better. It's not worrying about utopia or dystopia. It's just trying to make every day a little bit better and more joyful, responsible abundance. A grand narrative for gamification of life and lots of ethical considerations. Tons of business opportunities that I've been mapping out. Global Association for Joyful Responsible Abundance, Live Aid 2025 and 2035, Gamify Democracy, Co-Living, 500 Queens Venture Capital, because women only get like 3% of venture capital funding, and getting them to address long-term civilization planning, and then arranging a funnel of money to go to them to balance up, get more like 50-50 male-female venture capital, and turn to long-term civilization planning. Or more of dementia care here. Tailored program with advanced AI, personal dementia care profiles, social connection facilitation, memory palaces in augmented reality and virtual reality for reminiscence therapy, ethical operations framework based on potentially World Health Organizations and other things like that. Technology and architecture for digital twin constructions, blockchain for trust, and like you can see that there's tons and tons of stuff that I've done over the 10 years looking into this, and the documents in this are only just scratching the surface, but there's a lot of planning and going on in how all of these systems will come together, and then they'll get out of the way. It'll be like electricity. When it was invented, it was people were worried about it killing people, and then it just got engineered to such a high degree. Yes, people still die from it, but the fear mongering in the beginning was totally unjustified, because we've built this amazing modern world on electricity now, and if we do the same thing with artificial intelligence and engineer it really well with values like joyful, responsible abundance and extending the good years of human life, it's going to be an awesome place to exist and have families. Maybe we'll increase the birth rates again because all of the fear will have been taken care of. So zooming in again on more of the dementia care, I'll skip the societal impact, target markets, finance, founder, me and context, personalized support, persona mapping, historical data collection, values assessment, preference assessment, behavior modeling, social connections, future state roadmap for adaptive learning algorithms, virtual integrated care system scenarios, for different places like homes, mental health monitoring, medical, personal well-being hubs, even going out to things like wellness centers and retreats where anyway, you can hopefully you can see that there's tons and tons of thought gone into this, and I'll just and this one, quantifying 100 oh, you can't see it behind my face, quantifying 150,000 questions for comprehensive mapping of any human that wants to. Um, uh, yeah. Rather than waffle on, you can see that all the data's here. You'll be able to come in and query it yourself. I only did a short one. I forgot to do the long one. I'm gonna download that and delete it and make a longer one. So put that back in. Longer. I forgot to click that button before. Anyway, I'll stop the recording now. Thanks very much for listening to me waffle on about this. If you want to go to look at auraofintelligence.com or auraofintelligence.com / anti-dementia, was it? Yeah. / anti-dementia. This is my website. We'll kind of go through that sort of jazz. And I'll put the links in the video description. And yeah, hopefully this is worth your time. And I think it will be. If you've got anyone in your family that's got early onset dementia, then this is going to be able to allow them to create a digital twin of themselves and have that embedded into the world around them, so that it helps them to hold on to who they are while allowing them to change it if they choose to. So it's not holding people stuck, because like I said at the beginning, I hate being stuck, especially under any authority that I don't like or trust. So there's ways to have digital twins constantly evolving or stay still like the same as long as people want them to. And that goes into, like, because I've explored global group marriages and having complicated relationships where you're even involving like biosignature monitoring to understand if you're staying true to your own stated values. And so that it goes off in tangents on this whole big system Aura of intelligence, but today we're just looking into the dementia. But rest assured that it's a choose your own adventure. That it's not a one. It's not going to be a product that is exactly the same like we're used to seeing with like apps, dating apps, and social media. It's going to be a choose your own adventure to gamify your own life and duplicate yourself so that you can work with your digital twin to make your life better, achieve more, and in the case of dementia, help you stay living a high quality of life for longer. And go through life together, and it'll create new opportunities. So it's kind of complicated, very complicated, but there's ways of simplifying it through just the process of living it. So don't worry if you've been overwhelmed by my verbal diarrhea talking about this. Let's see, like these podcasts by NotebookLM that's generating, and that shorter one, they have a really great way of simplifying my technical jargon and stammering. So yeah, enjoy.
I know the words are hard to find, but I remember for us both. I remember your laugh in the sunlit air, the sweater you wore, the curl in your hair. You may forget where the keys belong, but not how we danced to our favorite song. You forget the street, but not yet my name. Even when your world doesn't feel the same, your eyes still smile when I say hello. There's someone inside, I know. They say the mind can come undone, like starlight fading from the sun. But even when the path is unclear, my voice, my touch will hold you near. Hold the light when the shadows play. Let all find the words you meant to say. We mapped your story, we caught each thread, so you're never lost, you're never misread. Even when silence begins to shout, we'll sing your memories back out loud. In your aura lives your favorite tea, the kids, the trips, the old fig tree, smiles from friends you may not recall, but we saved it all, we saved it all. Photos bloom when you speak my name, and voices of love light up the frame. Each whisper, each sigh is a gentle guide to walk you back to the world inside. You said you love the rain, so today it's raining in your memory garden just for you. Hold the light when the night grows long. Let us carry the words, let us carry the song. Your story's safe in every line, preserved in joy, encoded in time. From scent to song, from heart to screen, you are whole in every scene. When the clock forgets what year it is, you wonder who that young child is. You still feel safe, you still feel true, because your aura remembers you. And if I'm gone before you wake, know this tech was built for your sake, to hold your love like sacred ground, where time can't take what we've written down. In the silence, in the hush, in the photo covered with dust, there's a friendly voice, an AI spark turning memories into all kinds of art. Hold the light, don't fade away. We remember what you couldn't say. You're not alone inside the haze. We'll walk you home with love and grace. Aura shines a second soul, where dignity and data merge and hold. What memory drops will lift again in every laugh, in every friend. Hold the light, hold the light. Forget me not, forget me not. We'll remember, we'll remember. Hope, truth, care, trust, love, faith.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack complex ideas and try to find those unexpected takeaways. You know, just the other night, I happened to catch this show on ABC Australia, and it was all about dementia, the challenges, the triumphs.
Yeah, it's such a significant issue.
It really is, and it got me thinking about, well, how vital it is to bring cutting-edge technology to bear on these really deeply human needs.
Exactly.
So today, that's precisely what we're diving into, a pretty visionary project that aims to blend advanced AI with, the very personal world of dementia care.
That's right. Our mission for this deep dive is to explore this concept called aura of intelligence. We're really going to focus on its potential, especially how it might transform dementia care.
Okay.
And we're looking at it through a specific lens, right? The Australian context. Thinking about organizations like Dementia Australia and also the National Disability Insurance Scheme, the NDIS.
And this focus isn't random, is it?
No, not at all. It's actually a specific request from Luke, the creator of Aura. It sounds like after exploring, various avenues for the technology, he's really recentering its initial push on this particular application, dementia care.
Right, which makes sense. And what's really fascinating for you listening is that our insights here aren't just like from reading news articles or reports.
No, far from it.
We've got this incredibly comprehensive collection of materials provided directly by Luke, the mind behind Aura of Intelligence.
Yeah, it's quite a trove of information.
So you're getting a really unique first-hand look. The technical stuff, the philosophy behind it, the business angles. It's like having an insider's guide.
Absolutely. So our goal today is pretty clear. We want to unpack the core vision of Aura of Intelligence first. Then we'll delve into the detailed technical and philosophical underpinnings.
Okay.
Then examine its specific uses, potential partnerships, especially in dementia care, like we said.
And importantly, we need to talk about the challenges too, right?
Oh, definitely. We have to openly discuss the significant hurdles, the strategic things that need consideration for it to actually succeed.
So what this means for you is you're hopefully about to gain a really well-rounded, insightful understanding of a project that could, well, genuinely redefine how we think about personal identity and care in this digital age.
It's got that potential, for sure.
Okay, so let's unpack this grand vision. Because it really starts with a philosophy, doesn't it? It's like as ambitious as the tech itself.
It really is. The whole thing operates under this umbrella organization called the Alpha Infinity Foundation.
Right, and these aren't just cool-sounding words, are they? They're packed with meaning, like a whole mission statement baked right into the name.
Exactly. They're very deliberate. The names are chosen to reflect this core ethos of, well, collective well-being and intelligent evolution.
Okay, so break those down for us.
Sure. So you've got ALPHA, which stands for Altruistic, Loving, Participatory Human Alliance.
Right, so collaborative, compassionate, that kind of vibe.
Precisely. Then INFINITY, that means investing now for infinitely nuanced intelligence that yearns.
Okay, yearns. That speaks to what? Continuous growth, deeper understanding.
Continuous growth, yeah. And not just technological growth, but emotional, spiritual too. That yearning aspect is interesting.
It is. And the last one?
FOUNDATION. For our united, non-discriminating attention to internally organized nirvana.
Wow. Nirvana. That's aiming high.
It is, pointing towards, internal harmony, a unified, inclusive future. What's really striking, I think, is how they're embedding this spiritual, almost altruistic framework right into the tech development itself.
So it's not just like a mission statement tacked on the wall.
Not at all. It's intended to be the foundation, literally in the name.
So it's not just about building tech then. They talk about world building a protopian future for humanity. That's a term you don't hear every day, protopian.
Right. We hear utopia a lot.
Exactly. Perfect static societies. But protopia, that sounds different. What's the real insight there? How does aiming for like incremental steps to make each day better change how they build this AI compared to, say, just making a memory app?
That's a really good question, and it does get to the heart of their philosophy. A utopia, like you said, it implies this fixed, perfect end state.
Which can be dangerous, maybe.
Well, it can lead to stagnation or even dystopian outcomes if reality doesn't match up, right? Protopia, on the other hand, is all about continuous positive evolution. It's described as these overlapping processes to increase intelligence and happiness,
Okay.
and achieving responsible transitions to attain ecological balance. So the insight is, instead of trying to fix everything all at once,
Which is impossible.
pretty much, they're focused on these incremental, responsible improvements. So for an AI project like this, it means constantly adapting, learning, improving based on real feedback, aiming for a future that's always just a little bit better than today.
Without the pressure of absolute perfection.
Exactly. It feels like a more pragmatic kind of idealism, if that makes sense.
It does. And the creator frames the basic problem humanity faces as problem human bias. That's pretty broad.
It is broad. It includes things like fear, hatred, jealousy, poverty, waste, unawareness. It's a sweeping look at our flaws.
Acknowledging the scale of the issues we face.
Right. By framing it this way, they're suggesting these biases are like the root cause of so many global problems.
So the solution has to be fundamental, too.
That seems to be the idea. Which leads to their solution, Aura Woi, positioning this technology not just as another tool, but as a direct way to overcome these deep-seated human challenges.
That's incredibly optimistic. That tech, guided by these values, can tackle things like hatred or jealousy.
It's certainly a bold claim, almost saying if we can fix the bias, maybe we can fix the downstream problems too.
And central to this whole solution is the concept of the digital twin.
Mm-hmm. Within the Aura of Intelligence ecosystem.
But it's not just like a backup of your data.
Right. No, not at all. It's envisioned as much more than that. It's designed to be dynamic, queryable, even emotionally resonant, a representation of an individual's life.
Emotionally resonant. How so?
Think of it like a living, evolving narrative of your experiences, your memories, your personal essence. Not just facts, but an interactive biography you can engage with.
Like a living map of your mind, almost. Your cognitive patterns, preferences.
Sort of. And they see this digital twin as the ideal interface for AI. Now, that's a big statement. They even hint at redefining consciousness in the digital age.
Okay, whoa. Redefining consciousness. What's the leap there? This is not just replicating data.
No. The idea seems to be creating this living narrative that AI can interact with, potentially on an emotional level. So imagine it not just reminding you of a memory, but responding to how you feel about that memory in real time, or understanding the emotional weight of certain events or relationships.
Right, so it's not just data storage. It's like a companion, a responsive mirror.
That's the concept, something that could help rekindle a sense of self, especially when memory falters. It suggests this symbiotic relationship between the human and the AI, mediated through this personalized digital replica.
And for someone with cognitive decline, having an AI that gets not just the facts, but the feeling behind them.
Exactly. That could be truly transformative for maintaining their sense of identity, their connection to who they are.
Okay, that's profound. And then, just when you think it can't get more ambitious, there's this long-term goal.
Yes. Enabling humanity's expansion into a Kardashev-scale multi-planet civilization.
Right, the Kardashev scale, categorizing civilizations by energy use. Multi-planet means aiming for like type 1 or type 2, harnessing planetary or stellar energy.
That seems to be the implication. It's a huge philosophical statement, isn't it? It's suggesting this technology isn't just about helping individuals now, but about propelling humanity into a vastly different future.
It really shows the scope. Dementia care is crucial, but the ultimate vision is cosmic.
It is. It paints this picture of technology serving immediate human needs while simultaneously pushing the boundaries of our very existence. It's a grand narrative underpinning everything else.
Okay, reaching for the stars, literally. But let's ground it back down a bit. You mentioned dementia care as a key immediate focus, especially in Australia. Why is personalized care so critical when we talk about dementia? Isn't all good care personal?
That's a fair point, and it touches on a common misunderstanding. While all care should be personal, dementia adds this really critical layer of complexity.
How so?
Well, as we know, the condition affects every single person differently. One person might struggle with recent memories, another might retain long-term stuff but have trouble communicating. Their reality changes uniquely.
So one-size-fits-all approach just won't cut it.
Absolutely not. It often leads to distress, frustration, communication breakdowns. Personalized care, really tailored to the individual's specific challenges, their remaining strengths, their preferences. It offers benefits far beyond just standard care.
What does everyone differently really mean in practice? For caregivers, for the person themselves.
It means that a generic approach can actually cause harm or at least significant distress. Personalized care, on the other hand, can really enhance emotional well-being, tapping into individual preferences, evoking positive memories.
Okay, emotional well-being, that makes sense. What else?
It also aids significantly in behavioral management. This is huge. Understanding and preempting the specific triggers unique to that person can reduce distress or agitation dramatically.
Right, preventing problems before they start.
Exactly. And plus, it increases engagement, tailored activities, mental stimulation. It keeps people active, connected, even as their cognitive abilities change. It's about quality of life, fundamentally.
So how does Aura of Intelligence actually do this, achieve this deep personalization? It sounds like they're trying to build a digital copy of someone's entire life.
They are, in a sense. It's through this very meticulous persona mapping process. And yeah, it's not just basic data entry. It's designed as this comprehensive digital capture of a person's life, trying to recreate their world within the system.
Where do they even start gathering all that info to build such a detailed picture?
It begins with collecting historical persona data. This includes what they call written traces, documents, journals, letters, diaries.
Old letters, yeah.
Hmm.
Even maybe grocery lists if they spark something.
Potentially, yeah. Anything offering insights into experiences, milestones, even those mundane little details that make up a life.
And beyond just text.
Oh, absolutely. Then you have the powerful conduits to the past images,
Yeah.
photos, birthdays, weddings, holidays, moments frozen in time.
And Aura uses these not just as records, but actively.
That's the idea, to elicit memories, facilitate reminiscence therapy, and then imagine the power of intimate portrayals through audio and video, voice recordings, home movies.
Hearing a loved one's voice or seeing an old family gathering.
Exactly. It can rekindle memories, provide comfort, context. Plus, they use comprehensive surveys to gather even deeper insights, things that might not be obvious otherwise. It's like building a living archive.
Okay, so you have all this raw data, this history. Then the system has to build a detailed timeline. What does that involve? Is it just dates on a calendar?
It's a chronological narrative, yes, but with semantic depth. It charts significant dates, birthdays, anniversaries, milestones, weaving together a coherent story.
So it can offer prompts based on personal history.
Right, but crucially, it also maps locations. Places hold so many memories, don't they?
Oh, definitely. Childhood home, first date spot.
Exactly. By mapping these locations tied to emotions, Aura can tailor interactions based on places that have real significance, potentially evoking strong responses.
And the human side, the relationships that define us.
Relationships are fundamental here. Mapping them out family, friendships gives Aura essential context for social interactions, understanding preferences, affinities. It ensures the AI's approach is rooted in empathy, recognizing the dynamics.
That makes total sense. But what about values? Even when memory fades, core values often remain. How does Aura handle that? Identify and honor those deep beliefs.
That's a really important part, values assessment. It's paramount in dementia care. Aura works to identify and honor these core values.
How? How does it figure out someone's core values?
It involves distilling what they call statements of significance. These are concise expressions of core values like family always comes first, or honesty is key.
Okay, like mottos or principles.
Kind of, and Aura uses these as touchstones, trying to ensure its interactions and suggestions resonate with those intrinsic values.
And it connects these values to actual life events, you said, not just abstract ideas.
Precisely. It tries to link values to specific memories or life events. So a belief in hard work might be tied to stories about their early career, or valuing kindness linked to a specific act they performed.
Ah, so it grounds the values in experience.
Exactly. By linking them, Aura can evoke more meaningful conversations, reinforcing the person's sense of self and providing a richer context for reflection. It makes the interactions feel much more personal.
Okay, beyond big values, what about everyday preferences? Likes, dislikes, hobbies.
That falls under preference analysis, and it's incredibly meticulous. It starts by figuring out interests, hobbies, talents, passions. Engaging with these often brings joy, right? Even when other memories fade.
Sure, playing the piano, gardening.
Exactly. Then it catalogs objective and subjective likes, dislikes, discerning subtle preferences, music genres, types of food, and tailoring interactions to maximize comfort.
And routine. I imagine daily habits are vital too.
Absolutely critical for many. Aura maps daily routines, understanding schedules and habits. Many people with dementia thrive on routine.
It provides comfort, predictability.
Immense comfort. So knowing preferred wake-up times, meal habits, evening rituals allows Aura to provide timely prompts or suggestions, helping the day flow smoothly.
And the scale of this data collection is huge, right? 150,000 questions.
Yeah, the ambition is vast. Categorized into life chapters like childhood, career, retirement, character traits, daily lifestyle, social and emotional landscape, even future aspirations.
Oh.
The level of detail is meant to ensure every engagement is precisely aligned with the person's inclinations. It's a massive undertaking, but the potential payoff in truly personalized care could be immense.
Okay, that's incredibly thorough on the persona side. But people with dementia can also exhibit, varied or sometimes challenging behaviors.
Yeah.
How does Aura help with that? Can it be proactive?
That brings us to behavior modeling for proactive support. Getting accurate, predictive behavioral insights is crucial. Aura analyzes behaviors to offer insights for caregivers, family, maybe even the person themselves.
Oh, what's the process?
The idea is to anticipate needs and potential challenges before they escalate. It starts with observation, but then translates that into actionable insights.
Okay, so how does it go from observation to insight?
It begins with daily routines observation. Logging activities identifies established routines, which, as we said, offer comfort. Understanding these patterns lets Aura automate reminders.
Like, it's usually time for your walk now.
Something like that, yeah. A gentle prompt. This helps with immediate care, but also preemptively addresses potential issues, like restlessness if a routine gets missed.
And using all that data to understand behavior beyond just routines, does it try to, like, learn how someone thinks or feels?
Well, through behavioral pattern recognition, the AI clusters behaviors, grouping similar actions to spot trends. More importantly, it detects anomalies.
Deviations from the norm.
Exactly. Deviations that could signal a change in interest, maybe a shift in health or a dip in mood. Recognizing that early is key for offering relevant support.
So if someone usually sleeps well but starts waking up a lot.
The system could flag that, yeah. And based on historical data and current inputs, Aura tries to proactively predict likelihoods for future behaviors.
Like a digital early warning system.
Kind of. If someone often gets restless after 2 days indoors, Aura might suggest an outing, anticipating the need before agitation sets in.
So it identifies triggers, too. Things that might lead to distress.
Precisely. That's potential trigger identification. It maps causal links between triggers and behaviors. If loud noises consistently cause agitation, that's noted. Then it tries to interpret these triggers, understand the underlying preference, emotion, or physical need. The ultimate aim is to avoid undesirable triggers where possible, maximizing well-being and minimizing distress, creating a more comfortable, tailored environment.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Beyond individual behavior, social connections are so vital, especially for someone navigating cognitive decline, which can be incredibly isolating. How does Aura help strengthen those bonds?
Facilitating social connections is absolutely a cornerstone of Aura. Our experience is woven with connections, memories, shared moments.
And memory loss frays those threads.
Exactly. Aura aims to cherish, nurture, and strengthen those bonds, helping people maintain their place in their social world.
How does it visualize relationships? Is it just like a family tree in the app?
It's meant to be more dynamic than that. Relationship visualization graphically maps the social network, caregivers, family, close friends, highlighting the significant connections.
And how does that help?
It helps the system and caregivers understand and leverage these connections. It even enables features like automate greetings, something simple like, "Hello, Sarah, today is Tuesday." For someone struggling with memory, that personalized greeting can foster connection, familiarity.
Small things can make a big difference. And memories. Can it help people revisit cherished moments? Maybe involve family members, too.
Yes, through moment sharing. The system aggregates media photos, videos, stories to trigger reminiscence.
Like showing birthday photos on their birthday.
Exactly. Or maybe recognizing it's raining and activating a video of a cozy family gathering during a storm. Timely, context-aware reminiscing can offer huge comfort and connection.
And it's collaborative. Family can add things.
Yes, that's key. It's a platform where family and friends can contribute media, enriching that memory bank. It fosters a community of care, making memory a shared living experience.
What about the wider support network? Professionals, community groups.
That's covered by circles of support. Aura maps all available resources, care teams, medical contacts, community programs offering activities or socialization.
Like a central directory.
More than that, it uses this consolidated view to recommend tailored engagement activities. And vitally, it can notify the entire support circle about changes in needs, wants, or well-being.
Ah, so everyone stays on the same page.
Exactly, ensuring cohesive, responsive care. Adapting in real time.
Okay, this is incredibly comprehensive on the what. Let's peel back the layers now and look at the how. The nuts and bolts, the technical architecture. This isn't just a simple app, is it? They call it a distributed cognitive architecture using a multi-agent system.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean for us non-engineers?
Right. It sounds complex, but it basically means it's built to be robust, scalable, and intelligent using modern approaches. Let's break it down.
Okay, front end first. What the user sees.
For the front end, they've chosen a mobile-first app using Flutter. This is a smart move strategically.
Why Flutter?
Because it allows cross-platform development. You write the code once, and it runs on both iOS and Android devices. Think of it like building one really good engine that fits perfectly in 2 different car models. It's efficient, saves time and money.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
The back end. The engine room doing all the heavy lifting with data and AI.
The backend is built with FastAPI microservices. Now, for a project handling tons of photos, videos, conversations, you need a system that can juggle many complex tasks at once without getting bogged down.
Right.
FastAPI is really good at what's called asynchronous operations. Basically, it's super efficient at handling those heavy AI analyses, like scanning photos for faces, transcribing audio in the background without making the app feel slow for the user.
And they use something called Pydantic.
Yeah, for data validation. It sounds technical, but think of it as strict quality control. It makes sure all that complex personal data, every memory, every preference, is perfectly formatted and reliable, like ensuring your building materials are all measured correctly.
Okay. And how do different parts of the system talk to each other?
They're planning to use things like gRPC and GraphQL, which are more modern and efficient than traditional methods for some tasks. gRPC is like a really fast, optimized phone line between different system components. GraphQL lets the app request exactly the data it needs, nothing more.
Like ordering a la carte instead of the whole buffet.
That's a great analogy, yeah. Plus, they mentioned celery workers for handling those big, time-consuming background jobs, processing media, running AI models. It keeps the main system responsive.
Now, a huge part of this, especially with sensitive data from vulnerable people, has to be privacy. You mentioned offline first.
Absolutely. Privacy is supposedly baked into the data persistence and privacy-first design. The offline-first architecture is key, meaning core functions run locally on the device. User data, metadata, is cached locally in SQLite, media files stored encrypted locally using AES 256.
So it works even without internet.
Yes, which is critical for privacy and usability if connectivity is spotty. When online, it syncs with a cloud backend. They mention Supabase, but the local piece part is crucial.
So keeping sensitive data on your phone as much as possible, that feels like a major differentiator.
It really is. And the strategic decision to do AI processing directly on the device reinforces this. Using frameworks like TensorFlow Lite, TF Lite, and models like Whisper.cpp.
For things like face recognition, voice transcription.
Right. Doing that on the user's phone means that incredibly sensitive data doesn't necessarily have to leave the device unless you choose to sync it. It minimizes breach risks and maximizes user control. It directly supports that privacy-first promise.
Okay, now let's get into the real brain here. The advanced AI engine. How does it manage all this intelligence, taking raw input and turning it into, thoughtful interactions?
Right, at the core is this LLM controller, which they compare to concepts like Hugging GPT. Think of it as the central nervous system, or maybe an orchestrator.
An orchestrator, like for an orchestra.
Exactly. It doesn't play every instrument itself. Instead, it intelligently manages and coordinates a whole team of specialized AI models and agents. It knows who does what best.
So it's like a highly skilled AI project manager.
A very smart one, yeah. It has this dual role, function definer and function caller.
Okay, what does that mean?
As function definer, it gets a high-level task. Say, a user narrates a story about a photo. The controller analyzes this and breaks it down into subtasks. Transcribe the audio, analyze it for names and places, analyze the photo for faces and objects, tag the memory appropriately, maybe generate a follow-up question.
Got it. It defines the steps needed.
Then, as function caller, it delegates each of those steps to the best agent for the job, using API calls or specific messages. Image analysis goes to the image agent, transcription to the audio agent, and so on.
Making sure the right tool is used for the right job.
Precisely. Which brings us to the mixture of experts, or MO, approach.
Right. That sounds sophisticated. A team of specialists.
Kind of. The LLM controller acts as the gatekeeper, routing requests to the specialist AI model best suited for the task. An image file goes to an image annotator agent. Generating a thoughtful question goes to a reflection prompt agent.
Why do that instead of one giant AI?
Because specialization usually leads to higher quality and more efficient processing. You avoid that jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none issue you can get with single large models trying to do everything.
And how does it manage all these different AIs talking to each other? Sounds like it could get chaotic.
That's where multi-agent orchestration frameworks come in. They mention things like Microsoft's AutoGen or Crew AI. These aren't AI models themselves, but tools to manage interactions between multiple AI agents.
So they provide the structure.
Exactly. They let developers define agents with specific roles, capabilities, instructions, and then orchestrate conversations between them to achieve a goal. Think of it like a carefully choreographed dance between different AI programs all working together.
Is there room for humans in this loop, especially with dementia care? Seems vital.
Crucially, yes. The plan includes involving humans in a discovery process for agent functions and for providing continuous feedback. This human-in-the-loop approach is vital.
To keep it grounded, aligned with real needs.
Absolutely, especially given the sensitivity here. It ensures the AI remains a tool to augment human care, not replace it, and that its understanding evolves based on real human input.
Okay, so the whole system builds this digital twin, but you said it's not a replica of a person, right? More like a memory construct. How is that different from just a big database?
Exactly. It's primarily framed as a searchable graph of memories,
Yeah,
built from photos, videos, stories, but the key is the structure.
a graph, like interconnected points.
Precisely. It's a structured, interconnected narrative of life moments, not just isolated data points. Memories are linked to emotions, locations, people, values. That interconnectedness allows for much richer, more meaningful interactions than a simple database lookup.
And how do they make this memory graph searchable in that advanced way you mentioned, beyond just keywords?
That's where the vector database comes in. They mention examples like Pinecone or Weaviate. These databases are specifically designed for high-dimensional data.
Okay.
When content like a story or photo is processed, AI models turn it into numerical vectors or embeddings. Think of it like a mathematical representation of the meaning.
And that lets you search differently.
Yes, it enables semantic search. You can search for conceptual similarity. So instead of just searching for the word beach, you could search for happy memories.
And it would find things related to happiness even if the word happy isn't there, like a beach photo or a party.
Exactly. It searches for meaning and context, not just mashing words. That's really powerful for rediscovering memories.
That is powerful. Okay, but the ultimate long-term goal sounds almost like science fiction. XR-VR memory palaces. They call it a cathedral project.
It really is the cathedral project, this unifying, aspirational vision for the whole ecosystem. The idea is to transform that abstract memory graph
The network of memories.
into a navigable spatial environment where users can literally wander through their story. Imagine stepping into a virtual world built from your own memories, designed for interaction.
For someone with dementia, that could be incredible. Immersive reminiscence therapy.
Potentially, yes, allowing them to revisit places and times that might be otherwise inaccessible due to memory loss.
How technically feasible is that, though? Building a whole VR world from personal memories sounds incredibly complex.
The proposed workflow is actually fairly standard for high-end immersive experiences. Designing the 3D assets, the aura and Blender, then implementing the interactive experience in a game engine like Unity.
Unity is common for VR, right?
Very common. It has robust support for XR, extended reality, and VR. The tech exists. It's the sheer scale and the deep personalization that make it ambitious.
And there's that symbolic architecture, too. Chakras, Tori, ROYGBV colors, blending spiritual and technical.
Indeed. That geometry of Tori linked to 7 chakras in ROYGBV colors. It's explicitly mentioned as linking a spiritual framework with the data architecture.
Creating a complex symbolic code in a volume of vector space.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Where spiritual principles aren't just metaphors, but are physically represented in the data structure and the visual design of this memory palace, an attempt at holistic integration.
But they're not trying to build the full VR palace on day one, are they?
No, definitely not. They outline a pragmatic, phased approach, starting with a WebXR memory gallery stub.
WebXR, like VR in the web browser.
Kind of, yeah. A lighter, more accessible form of immersive experience, maybe not needing a dedicated headset initially. This serves as a North Star for development.
Guiding vision.
Exactly. Justifying the complex back-end architecture from the start and providing that inspiring narrative, perhaps to attract visionary investors. It's bold, but they have steps outlined.
Okay, let's shift focus now. How does Aura plan to ground this vision, especially in Australia? You mentioned the focus on dementia care and Luke, the creator, wanting partners in this space.
Right. A key strategic move is their plan to apply for a substantial grant, $3 to $5 million AUD from the Australian government's AI Adopt program.
AI Adopt, what's the goal there?
The aim is ambitious. Establish up to 5 AI Adopt centers across Australia. And this aligns directly with the government priorities, target areas like aged care, NDIS, youth mental health, and definitely dementia care.
So it's a clear pathway to potential funding.
A very clear pathway, yes. Tapping into national initiatives.
And getting a grant like that usually requires partners, right? Not just a good idea.
Absolutely. The strategy includes consortium building, forming alliances with universities, government entities, local or state, maybe large tech or sector-specific businesses.
Like for the money.
Partly for matching funds, sure, but also to facilitate AI adoption for smaller businesses, SMEs, across Australia, spreading the benefits. And critically, these partnerships add credibility, expertise, and practical support.
I see they specifically mention the NDIS, the National Disability Insurance Scheme, a huge program in Australia. How does Aura fit there?
Yes, there's a specific goal mentioned. Build an Aura hardware system for an NDIS disability estimation and rehabilitation clinic.
Okay, so tailoring it for NDIS clinics.
Exactly, which underscores its direct relevance.
Yeah.
The NDIS aims to help people with disabilities function at their highest potential, participate fully. Aura could provide direct, measurable support within that framework.
And market potential. Do they have numbers for Australia? Investors always want number.
They do. They cite a figure for early onset dementia in Australia, around 28,650 people aged 30-60, and the market share projections are, well, quite ambitious.
How ambitious?
Aiming for 1% in year 2, scaling up to potentially 30% in year 5.
Wow, 30%.
Yeah. And based on an estimated cost of $5,200 per client, these projections lead to some pretty significant valuation estimates.
Such as?
For instance, that 30% market share in year 5 could imply a valuation around $447 million AUD. These are big figures showing the perceived opportunity and potential ROI.
Okay, huge market, ambitious goals. But who are they competing against? And what makes Aura stand out in a field that already has big players?
Good question. The competitive analysis shows a diverse landscape. You've got the big pharma, biotech, and tech companies, think Eli Lilly, Biogen, Google, often focused on drugs or broad health tech.
Right.
Then nonprofits and advocacy groups, Dementia Australia, Alzheimer's Association focused on support, advocacy, research funding. And finally, research institutions doing cutting-edge work, but often not commercial products.
So with all that activity, what's Aura's unique edge? What makes them different?
Their competitive edge, as they articulate it, is bridging that gap between pure tech innovation and holistic dementia care. By integrating diverse technologies, the AI, the digital twin, the potential XR, but with this overlay of personalization, sustainability, community building, offering a comprehensive solution that single-focus competitors don't.
So while pharma works on drugs and nonprofits on support,
Aura aims to combine AI's power with this deeply personalized, empathetic approach to enhance quality of life and preserve identity, trying to be a full-stack solution for a very human problem.
and how do they plan to make money? Especially starting small, but with such a big vision, seems like a jump from selling T-shirts to funding advanced AI.
Yeah, the business model and monetization strategy does start with a very start-small approach. Initially, planning to dropship branded clothing and wellness products or values, Cosmic Nexus,
Okay, why?
to generate some initial revenue, build brand awareness, create a community around the broader philosophy maybe, without heavy upfront investment. It's a bootstrap method, clearly.
So how does that bridge to funding the actual AI? What's the main revenue driver, especially for scaling that specialized knowledge about digital twins?
The focus seems to shift pretty quickly to high-end experiential offerings. Things like 5-day wellness retreats and intensive 9-day teacher training programs
Focused on what?
focused on building one's own aura and digital twin, and that train-the-trainer model is key.
Teach others how to implement the methodology.
Exactly. It's a shrewd way to scale specialized knowledge into different sectors: health, education, aged care, corporate, government, without the core team having to deliver everything directly. They scale the knowledge itself.
Turning the expertise into a scalable product. Okay. Any other parts to this ecosystem?
They mentioned the memory mapping app itself, maybe freemium or a one-time purchase. There's talk of a GAJRA blockchain marketplace for decentralized transactions down the line, and specific hardware, like a meditation sleep mask.
So multiple touch points.
Yeah, an expansive vision aiming to connect physical products with their digital offerings and services.
Getting buy-in seems crucial, both from partners and investors. How do they plan to inspire that, especially in such a personal, sensitive area like dementia care? The emotional stakes are high.
For individuals and families, the strategy is about empathy, starting with understanding the diagnosis, focusing on maintaining quality of life, emphasizing that emotional connection, remembering names, shared experiences.
And practical benefits, too.
Yes, safety features like location tracking, medication reminders, but the value is framed emotionally. What's the value of remembering your child's wedding? What's an extra year of connected memories worth? Appealing to what's being lost and what Aura promises to help preserve.
And investors. especially those who might have a personal connection to dementia. It's a big market, but yeah, it carries emotional weight.
For investors, particularly those with personal experience, the approach involves sharing testimonials, highlighting that emotional value of preserving identity, but also explaining the science, showing success stories if possible, emphasizing independence.
And the potential return, presumably.
Oh yes, discussing future potential, the market size. It's an appeal to both the heart, the desire to prevent others' suffering, and the head, the potential for social impact combined with financial return.
Okay, we've covered the vision, the application, the tech. But no project this big comes without hurdles. What are the major challenges Aura faces? How significant are they?
They face some really profound strategic challenges, honestly, starting with a core ethical dilemma and contradictory vision.
Ethical dilemmas, like what?
Well, the whole concept of a comprehensive digital twin, especially for vulnerable people, raises huge questions. Data privacy, informed consent, who owns the data, algorithmic bias, these aren't small issues. They hit the core of trust and responsibility.
And I remember reading about a tension in their vision regarding privacy itself, almost
Yeah.
a contradiction.
Yes, that's a major one, a significant philosophical and strategic tension. On one hand, the grand vision talks about building AGI 100% on the record.
On the record, that
Yeah.
sounds like total surveillance.
It implies a level of total data capture, yeah, which seems to directly contradict the app's promise of a sacred and privacy-first experience, especially for users needing protection.
That feels like a huge conflict. A crisis of trust, as they put it.
It really could be, undermining adoption before it even starts. If the system is on the record, how can my personal memories within it also be sacred and private? It's a fundamental disconnect.
What are the specific risks there, beyond the philosophical clash?
The risks are massive. Data breaches exposing someone's entire emotional history, arguably more sensitive than financial data. The danger of algorithmic misrepresentation, the AI getting it wrong.
Like misinterpreting emotions.
Yeah, like consistently labeling a thoughtful look as sad, potentially altering how someone sees their past or how caregivers interact with them, and getting truly informed consent, especially from people with cognitive impairment. A simple checkbox isn't enough. It needs to be dynamic, ongoing.
Okay, huge ethical considerations. Beyond that, there's a practical problem too, right, with the name itself. Aura.
Yes, this is highlighted as a severe brand identity conflict, a critical and likely insurmountable strategic obstacle as it stands.
Why? What's the issue?
The names Aura and Aura Intelligence are already heavily used in the tech market. You've got established venture-backed companies, Aura Intelligence for workforce analytics, Aura for online security, Xreal's project Aura for smart glasses.
So they just get lost in the noise.
Completely. It creates massive challenges for brand recognition, SEO, trademarks, trying to explain to investors how this Aura is different. Their unique value proposition, the blend of wellness, memory, therapy gets totally obscured.
So what's the reformation?
An immediate and comprehensive rebranding effort. It's described as a non-negotiable step. They need a name that's unique, legally defensible, and actually reflects their distinct mission. Without it, building market presence or investor credibility seems incredibly difficult.
Okay, assuming they tackle the branding and find a way through the ethical maze, what's the path forward? They need a solid plan for responsible development, right?
Absolutely. They need to establish a robust governance framework, much more explicit than what's hinted at. Key components should include privacy by design, baking it in from the start, not adding it later,
And consent.
a dynamic consent model, especially for vulnerable users, moving beyond simple checkboxes to something ongoing, adaptable, and taking on data fiduciary responsibility, a legal and ethical duty to act only in the user's best interests regarding their data, treating it like a sacred trust.
What about outside oversight? For an AI handling such intimate data?
That seems crucial. An independent external ethics board, experts in ethics, law, psychology, tech to review features, oversee data use, provide public reports, adds vital accountability.
And the AI itself?
Yeah.
Transparency.
Yes, algorithmic transparency and auditability. Users need to understand, maybe even correct, AI-generated tags. The models need regular audits for bias. This kind of proactive approach builds trust and shows they're serious about ethics.
It sounds like a long road. But they do have that phased roadmap, right? How do they see it unfolding? From app to VR palaces?
Yes, the phased implementation roadmap aims to mitigate risk with 4 stages. Phase 1, maybe 6-12 months, is the core app MVP minimum viable product.
Focusing on what?
Perfecting the core conversation UX, the robust on-device AI, the offline-first architecture, getting product-market fit, showing tangible value early on.
And expanding outwards.
Phase 2, perhaps 18-36 months, focuses on the ecosystem and community, launching Cloud Sync, the semantic memory graph, those wellness retreats and teacher training programs, maybe the complementary hardware.
Building the community, validating the broader business model.
Exactly. Then phase 3, say 3 to 5 years, is the immersive prototype, starting development on that long-term XR vision, beginning with the more accessible WebXR memory gallery stub.
Before tackling the full Unity VR memory palace.
Right, demonstrating feasibility and appeal in steps.
And the really long-term vision, the AGI, the multi-planet stuff.
That's phase 4, 5+ years. The AGI and simulation platform, leveraging the mature digital twin for advanced research life simulation, assuming the ethical and branding issues are resolved by then.
So the phased approach breaks it down, manages risk.
Yes, by showing clear value-generating milestones at each stage, crucial for justifying ongoing funding and keeping investors confident. Building the foundation before reaching for the stars, basically.
This has been an incredibly deep dive. Aura of Intelligence. It offers this powerful, deeply personal promise, doesn't it? A system designed to try and enhance the lives of people with dementia through personalized AI support, fostering dignity, connection, maybe even joy.
And we've seen that specific opportunity in Australia, engaging with Dementia Australia, the NDIS. There's a clear path outline for real-world application, addressing a really pressing need that touches so many lives.
Yeah. And while we've definitely hit on some significant hurdles, that critical need for rebranding, the absolute necessity of a robust ethical framework, it's important to see those not just as roadblocks, right?
No, they're essential steps. Addressing them thoughtfully is what will unlock the project's true potential to make a genuine difference.
Ultimately, Aura's success seems to hinge on navigating these strategic challenges very deliberately. It's about translating this powerful, complex concept into something tangible, impactful, and, well, truly human-enhancing. A legacy of connection and memory.
Well put. It requires that careful balance.
And that really leaves us with a compelling question for you, the listener, to think about. If a system can map the intricate tapestry of human life, preserving and even, in a way, reanimating cherished memories, what new possibilities might emerge for individuals navigating cognitive decline? And maybe even more broadly, how might this reshape our collective understanding of identity and legacy?
Hello, my love. I know the words are hard to find, but I remember for us both. I remember your laugh in the sunlit air, the sweater you wore, the curl in your hair. You may forget where the keys belong, but not how we danced to our favorite song. You forget the street, but not yet my name. Even when your world doesn't feel the same, your eyes still smile when I say hello. There's someone inside, I know, I know. They say the mind can come undone, like starlight fading from the sun. But even when the path is unclear, my voice, my touch will hold you near. Hold the light when the shadows play. Let all find the words you meant to say. We mapped your story, we caught each thread, so you're never lost, you're never misread. Even when silence begins to shout, we'll sing your memories back out loud. In your aura lives your favorite tea, the kids, the trips, the old fig tree, smiles from friends you may not recall, but we saved it all, we saved it all. Photos bloom when you speak my name, and voices of love light up the frame. Each whisper, each sigh is a gentle guide to walk you back to the world clock forgets what year it is. You wonder who that young child is. You still feel safe, you still feel true, because your aura remembers you. And if I'm gone before you wake, know this tech was built for your sake, to hold your love like sacred ground, where time can't take what we've written down. In the silence, in the hush, in the photo covered with dust, there's a friendly voice, an AI spark turning memories into all kinds of art. Hold the light, don't fade away. We remember what you couldn't say. You're not alone inside the haze. We'll walk you home with love and grace. Aura shines a second soul, where dignity and data merge and hold. What memory drops will lift again, in every laugh, in every friend. Hold the light, hold the light. Forget me not, forget me not. We'll remember, we'll remember. Hope, truth, care, trust.